Well, hello, my cornerstone cats. It's Mr. Matt from Classroom 6 coming to you from home. That's why I'm not wearing my mask. Okay, so today we are talking more about the Revolutionary War, and we're going to read about how it progressed. You know, how the American soldiers fought the British soldiers. All right, and first we're going to go over the topic words. All right, so the excuse me, the first topic word would be battle. Okay. So a battle would look something like this during the American Revolution. During the American Revolution, you had the American Continental Army wearing blue. All right. Some of them were Minutemen who didn't have the blue uniforms, and they were fighting against the British soldiers in their red coats. Pretty easy to identify one side from the other, back then. Okay, colony. Well, yep, colony is right here. Whoops. All right, the 13 original colonies, of which Rhode Island and Connecticut are both part of the original 13 colonies. Okay. Country. Country is symbolized by the flag stuck into the image of a country on a map. And our country is the United States of America, which is right here. That's our flag. Alrighty then. Fight. Not a good word. You shouldn't fight. Okay. Alright, two guys fighting with each other. Okay. That's the graphic on our communication board here for fight. Freedom. 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 Where is freedom? I don't think we have. Do we have graphics of freedom? Let's see. Not here. Hold on, please. Okay, I found a good graphic for freedom on my phone, symbolized by this girl looking at her map, just deciding for herself which way she's going to go. And she's at a signpost. And the signpost not only shows her which way to go, hold on a second, but it also shows her different religions that she can be. Okay. So you have the freedom to choose where you want to go where you want to go, be whatever religion you want to be. Okay, that's what living in the United States, once again, is all about. And people had to fight for that back during the time of the American Revolution, which was many, 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 many yesterdays ago. Long before your great-grandparents were born. Okay, so let's see. King. Well, we all know what the king looks like, right? Well, let's see. The king on our communication board looks like this, with the crown and the purple robes. Okay, but let's see. The king that we're talking about is King George again. Old King George. Okay, he was the king during the American Revolution. King of England. Soldier. Okay, soldier right here. Saluting. Okay, with his helmet and his backpack. And then, of course, war. All right, symbolized by the soldier in his uniform and helmet holding his weapon, and looks like there's a tank behind him, and a red flag symbolizing war. Okay. Let's see what other important words we have here in our communication board. Win. Okay. When you win something, like when you're in Special Olympics. Okay, like this person ran the fastest, so he hit the tape first, so he won. He, to win something, like when you win a game. Winning's not the most important thing, though. It's how you play the game and whether or not you have fun, right? Okay, let's see. Choose. That's an important word. It's important to be able to choose. Okay. People. We have all types of different people in the United States. Okay? All types of different people, people from different countries originally, people who all look different and are different and act different. Okay, we have different religions in the United States too. Okay, like Judaism, Christianity, the Islamic faith. Okay, let's see. And of course, the war was fought against Great Britain. Okay. All right. So I'm going to read the story about how we fought the war against Great Britain, and as I read, it is your job to remember how life was hard for the American soldiers, the Americans, and all the Americans during the Revolutionary War. Okay, the name of this story is The War Continues, and it continued with our founding father, George Washington, as General of the Continental Army, the U.S. soldiers. Well, the American soldiers, as they were called back then. And behind him is the flag of the United States colonies, which had 13 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, which symbolized the original 13 colonies, of which Rhode Island and Connecticut were part of. And the stripes symbolize the 13 colonies then too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So our flag, the United States flag, still has 13 stripes to symbolize the 13 colonies, but now we have 50 stars in the blue square because we have 50 states. And if we got another state, there'd be 51. All right, so let's see. The Declaration of Independence said the colonies were a new country. So here are the 13 colonies, and they were a new country on the east coast of America. The Americans now had a lot of work to do. They still had to fight, they still had to fight the British to win the American Revolutionary War and their freedom. Many big battles were fought over the next 5 years. The Americans were smart and came up with sneaky ways to win. Very sneaky, The Battle of Trenton took place on Christmas night, the morning after. General Washington led his soldiers to Trenton, New Jersey. The King's soldiers were there to fight, boom. But the soldiers were celebrating. The King's soldiers, the redcoats, the British soldiers, they were celebrating instead of fighting. General Washington waited until the morning after Christmas to attack. The Americans won this battle. So, you can see George Washington, all right, standing here next to a cannon and some tents in the background. Those might have been the tents of the British soldiers who had been, having a big party on Christmas the day before and were probably sleeping late the day after. So George was sneaky and he decided to attack them then. Okay. General Washington, as he was called then, led his soldiers to Princeton, which was in New Jersey. The American soldiers acted like they were camping by their campfires. Okay, so here are the tents. They're camping by their campfires. Early in the morning, the American soldiers snuck around behind the British soldiers. They attacked and won another battle. Very sneaky. Okay, so let's see. The Battle of Saratoga was one of the most important battles of the war. The British soldiers were trying to get through the forests in New York. The American soldiers chopped trees to slow down the British soldiers. The American soldiers surrounded the British soldiers and won another battle. So here are the American soldiers, and I guess they chopped down the trees and piled up the logs to slow the British down and surrounded them. Pretty sneaky, sis. The American Army had a very hard winter in 1777. 1777. Oh, over 200 years ago. Many, 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 many yesterdays ago. Just imagine that many yesterdays, huh? It was very cold and icy, like it is now. They stayed at Valley Forge and didn't have enough supplies. They needed clothes, blankets, shoes, and food. Over 2,000 soldiers died that winter. Oh, that's rough. You see? Like, especially this guy, he just has a shirt and a pair of knee-high pants on. He must be freezing. And they have their fire going in their log cabins. Ah, the ships are coming. Great Britain made many other countries mad before the Revolutionary War. Mad. Okay, because of this, other countries offered to help the Americans. France, Spain, and Holland sent soldiers and supplies to help the American army. Okay, so we have France, Spain, yes, France, Spain, and Holland, okay, sent their ships and brought supplies to the Americans. So I guess they got their warm blankets and clothes and food after all. So that's why it's not good to make people angry, you know? You want to be friendly with people, you know, so that they don't, you know, help someone else out instead of you, you know? Plus, you know, you just want to be, you want to treat others the way you want to be treated. Okay. Life as a soldier was hard, and life as an American was hard. Women and children had to do jobs with the men who were away fighting the war. They also helped make clothing for the soldiers. You see, sewing the buttons on the clothing. Some women became messengers. Okay, messengers are people who took paper messages, and snuck them across, the country during the war. Nurses, some women became messengers. They also became nurses or spies for the army. Spies are people who they act like they're your friend, and they actually are listening and watching and getting information, for the enemy, Some Americans did not agree with the war. They wanted the king to be in charge. They did not fight with the American soldiers. They were called loyalists. Okay, so let's see. Timeline here. December 1776. The Americans won the Battle of Trenton. January 1777, the Americans won the Battle of Princeton. October 1777, the Americans won the Battle of Saratoga. December 1777, the winter at Valley Forge was very hard for the Americans. Okay. Now comes the part of the exercise where we fill in the correct answer to each question to see what we remembered from the story. And if you recall, your job was to remember how life was hard for the Americans during the war. The colonies, number one, the colonies were a new what? What were they anew? The colonies were a new country. The colonies were a new clothes. Probably not. Doesn't make sense. Colonies were a new soldiers. Nope. The colonies were a new winter. Nope. The colonies were a new war. The colonies, you guessed it, were a new country. The colonies became a country, America. So the American colonies became the United States of America. Alrighty then. The Americans had to fight battles to win. Win, yay! To win what? What did they have to fight battles to win? The Americans had to fight battles to win the country. Almost makes sense. Fight battles to win the clothes? That's silly. They had to fight battles to win the soldiers. Not quite. They had to fight battles to win the winter? No. They had to fight battles to win the war, right? Right. Green means correct. They, meaning the American soldiers, snuck around behind the British. Behind the British what? What they sneak around behind the British? Behind the British country? Would have been a long way around, huh? So had to sneak all the way around England. They had to sneak around behind the British clothes. They had to sneak around behind the British soldiers. Oh, yeah, good tactic. Sneak around them, flank them. Okay. Number 4. The American soldiers had a hard what? Let's see. The American soldiers had a hard country. Not quite. The American soldiers had a hard close. No. The American soldiers had a hard war. Yes. Well, let's try that and see what happens. Oh, red. Oh, that's not right. The American soldiers had a hard winter. You guessed it. At Valley Forge. Ooh, cold like it has been recently. Imagine it being cold outside. You don't have warm winter clothes. Oof, must be awful. Must have been awful for them. And they did it all for us. The Americans, their ancestors, so we could live in freedom. Women and children made blank for the soldiers. What did they make? Cream of wheat? Quaker oats? Let's see. They made... Can you guess it? Yes, they made clothes for the soldiers. That was nice of them to do that. Right. Okay, multiple choice. Number 1, what is this chapter about? What is this story about? Is it about compromise? Not really. This story is basically about fighting in war. I just gave it away, didn't I? Is it about war? Yes, it's about the American Revolutionary War. How America gained its independence from England. Okay, what were the colonies now? Were they a new town? Were they a new ocean? Were they a new country? Country. You betcha. Who did the American soldiers sneak around? Who'd they sneak around behind? The deer? Well, they might sneak around behind the deer if they wanted to hunt deer for food, but I don't think the story talked about that. Did they sneak around behind the children? No, no. Did they sneak around behind the British soldiers? Yes. Alrighty then. What did women make for the soldiers? Did they make pictures for them? Well, unless you could paint with a paintbrush back then, you wouldn't be able to make pictures for anybody because they didn't have cameras back then. They didn't have that. They couldn't take pictures with their cell phones because they didn't have cell phones and they didn't have cameras. Did they make curtains for them? It's curtains for you, American soldier. No, they made clothes for them. Very nice. What is important to know about this story? No one fought in the war. No. Life was easy for the American soldiers. It was easy. They just got to lie around and do whatever, right? Nah. The American soldiers had a hard winter. I think that's the one, don't you? What do you think? Yep. Winters can be hard in New England, which is pretty much where they were fighting. New England being like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York. Maybe you've been to a lot of those places and it gets really cold, All right. All right, that's it for this story. My Cornerstone compadres. Next we'll do a clock reading game. Stay tuned. Okay, my Cornerstone compadres. This is called it's a website called Math Time. Anyways, we're supposed to look at this analog clock here and type in what the time is. So let's try that. The little hour hand is past the 2. It's between the 2 and the 3. And the minute hand is pointing down to the 6. So that would be 2. And then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes past 2. So the time is 2:30. Okay, let's see. Okay, I guess we got it right. There's a little indicator here, kind of is showing us that we got it right. Okay, the time is the little hour hand is between the 7 and the 8, so we're going to go with 7. The minute hand is pointing straight down to the 6, so again, that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm sorry, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes past 7 o'clock. 7:30. Oops. Now, if we were talking about 7:30 a.m., well, you would not have arrived at school yet. You'd probably still be on your bus. Or maybe just getting on your bus at home. All right? 7:30 at night, you'd just be doing something with your family or your caregivers, playing a game or watching TV or talking or whatever. All right. The hour hand's a little bit past the 6. It's between the 6 and the 7. Again, the minute hand is all the way down to the 6, which means 30 minutes past 6. So that would be 6:30. Okay, so now we have the hour hand pointing to the 6, the short hour hand pointing to the 6, and the minute hand pointing straight up at the 12. So if the numbers that the 12 represent in minutes are 00, so 6:00:00 6:00. This is what 6 o'clock looks like. And you'd probably still be asleep at this time, or probably just getting up. Okay, the small hour hand is pointing to the 9. The long minute hand is pointing straight up to the 12. So with this clock, we're talking about 9. Whoops, not 8. 9:00, 9 o'clock. What are we usually doing at 9 o'clock a.m., 9 o'clock in the morning at school? Where, well, we've finished putting on our splints and everything and orthotics every day for the day. We put our coats away and everything. And we're probably doing snack, getting ready to do morning group. 9 o'clock p.m., you're probably getting ready for bed, and so am I. All right. Okay, the little hour hand is between the 12 and the 1. The minute hand is pointing straight down towards the 6. It must be 12:30. 12:30 in the afternoon. We would have finished lunch, and we'd probably be doing a lesson. 12:30 a.m., 12:30 in the morning, we'd all be asleep because it would be the sky would be night. Okay. All right, let's pause. No, I'm not going to pause. We're going to do a few more. Okay, the time is, the small hour hands between the 5 and the 6, so we're going to go with the 5. The minute hands on the 6, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes past 5, so 5:30. 5:30 in the morning, hopefully you'd still be asleep and not waking up your parents or caregivers. 5:30 in the evening, you'd probably be eating dinner or getting ready to. Okay, the small hand is pointing to the 1, the big hand is pointing to the 12. We're talking about 1:00, which is 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, we're probably finishing up an activity and getting ready to clean ourselves up in anticipation of going home. That would be, excuse me, I'm sorry. Mr. M is tired. All right, so 1 p.m., that's what we'd be doing, 1 in the afternoon. 1 a.m., we'd all be sleeping because it would be a nighttime sky outside. 10:30. Oh, I just gave it away. The little hand is between the 10 and the 11. All right, so 10, and the minute hand is down, pointing to the 6. So that's 30 minutes past the hour of 10. So 10:30. At 10:30 a.m., what are we doing in school? Excuse me. Yawning again, sorry. 10:30. Okay. We're working. I'm doing stuff in class. We are interacting, talking, you know, doing stuff, you know. 10:30 a.m., 10:30 in the morning. 10:30 at night, we're hopefully sleeping. We already did this one. Let's do it and find another one. I think we already did this one. Oh, well, we'll do it anyway. So the hour hand is pointing towards the 7. The minute hand is pointing towards 12, which means 7, 0, 0. So if we're talking about 7:30 a.m., 7 a.m., 7 in the morning, you haven't gotten to school yet. I haven't gotten to school yet. I'm probably eating breakfast. I'm probably drinking my tea and eating my toast. You guys are probably getting up eating your breakfast too, you know? 7 at night. Oh, we probably all finished supper and the nighttime sky is out. 7 p.m. And we're just hanging around with our family or caregivers. Okay, Cornerstone friends, that's all we have time for today. Next comes a song. Stay tuned. Okay, my Cornerstone cats, here's an old song by The Who. Every day I get in queue, too much the magic bus to get on the bus that takes me to you. Too much the magic bus. I'm so nervous I just sit and smile. The magic bus, your house is only another mile. Too much the magic bus. Thank you, driver, for getting me here. Too much the magic bus. You'll be an inspector, have no fear. Too much magic bus. I don't wanna cause no fuss. Too much magic bus. But can I buy your magic bus? Too much magic bus. No. I don't care how much I pay. I wanna drive my bus to my baby each day. Too much the magic bus. Magic bus, I want it, I want it. 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 Now I got my magic bus. Too much the magic bus. Now I got my magic bus. Too much the magic bus. I drive my baby every way. Too much magic bus. Each time I go a different way. Too much magic bus. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. Magic bus, magic bus. Whoa, magic bus. Thank you.